This is our first member school webinar of the season, so thank you for joining us. The purpose of today's session is really to allow you to get to know 3 of our member schools, what differentiates their programs, and hear directly from their admissions officers championing our work. We'll start with a brief overview of the consortium and jump into each of our schools' presentations. So as we move along, please pop your questions into the chat, and we'll leave time at the end for Q&A. So kicking off with some introductions, I'll go first. I'm Michelle Pava. I'm the VP of Recruitment and Admissions here at the consortium. Been here for about 5 months at this point, and before that, I was in the higher ed space at one of our member schools. So not new to the consortium. Happy to be on this side and expanding the work that I do, that I am passionate about, and demystifying the MBA landscape for all. And with that, I will hand it over to Kathleen. If you could introduce yourself and tell us something that you're looking forward to or excited about your program.
Oh gosh. Well, hi y'all. I'm Kathleen Edwards. I'm from Emory University Goizueta Business School in beautiful, rainy Atlanta, Georgia. I'm looking forward to our early onboarding. We started in a little bit earlier than other schools. We started in late July, which means that it's a short time between admitting people and getting to see them in person and getting to campus. So onboarding is just such a great time of year.
Love it. All right, Trey.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all for your patience. I do apologize for some technical issues. My name is Trey Coles. I'm the Associate Director of Admissions here at Tepper. Looking forward to speaking tonight, but also looking forward to base camp. It's always an exciting time for admissions reps. We have a chance to see students come to campus and go through the orientation process. So I'm looking forward to base camp, looking forward to tonight's event as well. So
Thank you. All right, Tessa.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tessa. I'm originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I am a rising second year at Carnegie Mellon Tepper School of Business, which is very weird to say. So he's saying the first year bit. But what I'm looking forward to this year is our annual Women's Conference. This is a great opportunity where our current women, as well as the women local to Pittsburgh and beyond, are able to connect, as well as some prospective students.
Thank you. And last but certainly not least, Will.
Hi, everybody. I'm Will from Stanford, and something about this time of year, it's just so exciting to see people getting ready to graduate, and even the MBA ones as they're heading off into their internships, and just seeing how much they've grown over their like 1 to 2 years, and being able to catch up. Fun fact is that even though you might have been done with the admission process, like all of us on this call and a lot of us at the school that you're going to be thinking about, we care about you and want to support you during your time at our schools and beyond. So know that hopefully this isn't just a blip on your lifetime radar, but that it's an honor to get to be a part of your kind of business school journey, and we're here to support you.
Love that. All right. And with that, I am going to take us into a brief overview of the consortium. And so starting off with our mission and who we are, the Consortium for Graduate Study and Management is a continually growing and evolving alliance of some of the world's leading graduate business schools and business organizations. We're supported by the strength of our extended network of students and alums. So we partner with leading business schools and corporate partners to offer admissions and funding opportunities to applicants who show a commitment to our mission. Our goal is not just to shape the future of business education, but to mold the leaders of tomorrow's global businesses. So our mission itself, supported by the strengths of our growing alliance and network of committed allies, is to expand access and increase representation in business education and leadership. So we're looking for students of all backgrounds who have consistently worked to broaden opportunity and create pathways for others, whether it's through your academic endeavors, professional or personal experiences. And so we don't like to dictate what your commitment looks like to expanding access and increasing representation, because it can really depend on a lot of things, including what you were involved with in undergrad, maybe what you're championing. I don't know why I keep struggling to say that word today, at work, professionally. Maybe you have founded something that helps to create a more even playing field for others. And so we really leave it up to you to decide what that demonstrated commitment is for you. So moving on to our history. we old. The consortium was founded by Sterling Shane in 1966, so it is our 60th anniversary, and we are going to be celebrating that this year. Professor Sterling Shane was a professor at Washington University in St. Louis, and he wanted to make an impact on the gap in equal opportunity employment. So he brought together 60 educators, business leaders, and community advocates to form a consortium of three founding schools. And so we started with Indiana University, Washington University, and Wisconsin School of Business. The founding class had 21 African American men, three corporate partners, and our mission has evolved over the years. So the initial mission was to give African American men the business skills and access needed to secure leadership positions in American organizations. And it then opened up to include women, Hispanic Americans. So we've grown. We have a powerful network now of 21 member schools, over 12,000 alums, and 800 fellows in the class of 2027. So commonly asked question is, what kind of programs do we support? All of our member schools have our member schools are traditional 2-year full-time MBA programs, with Emory being the exception where their 1-year MBA program is also part of the consortium. So Kathleen's here. If you have questions about that, I'm sure she'd be more than happy to answer them. All right, so moving on to fellow eligibility. So everyone is welcome to apply regardless of race or ethnicity, but again, you must be a U.S. citizen, a permanent resident, and DACA applicants are also welcome. Again, you must review each program's policy regarding DACA acceptance, and then you must hold a 4-year bachelor's degree. It has to be from an accredited college or university, and you must have it currently or received it before program matriculation. So if you are graduating the year that you apply, each school is different. Check with your school, but you may be eligible to apply. And then last but not least, you must demonstrate a commitment to our mission. So again, what we're looking for is not sporadic commitment, but a consistent alignment, demonstrating that through line of your commitment to expanding access, increasing representation, and in whether it is international or domestic, you must also plan to continue demonstrating your commitment on a domestically. All right, moving on. So the fellowship process is kind of a 1 + 2 = 3. So in order to become a consortium fellow, you must first be granted membership to our organization. And so you'll see what that looks like in just a minute when we give you an overview of the application, but you have to apply through us, write an essay, a couple of essays about why your involvement aligns with our mission. And so we will evaluate that. And if you are approved for membership, then the next step is that each member school that you apply to, you must have be granted admission to at least one of our member schools in the current application cycle. So our review processes are completely separate. You may be approved or denied to the consortium, and that doesn't mean that you're going to get approved or denied to the member school. They are still going to review your application for admission to their program. But to become a consortium fellow, you must be granted admission to both the consortium and to at least one of our member schools. Now, to become eligible for consortium funding, that is a separate and individual decision made by each member school. And there is no limit on the amount of schools that can offer you consortium funding. And they can offer anywhere from no funding to partial to full tuition and fees. Then, so a consortium fellow is, at the end of the day, someone who applies to the consortium or is referred to our organization, and you accept membership and are enrolled in one of our member schools. At that point, you are officially a consortium fellow. So that means that you now have access to a lot of our benefits as a consortium fellow, and access is really the pillar of our organization. We grant you access to Fortune 500 companies. You have a community of current MBA students who become your future colleagues and collaborators. And the best thing about the consortium is that you're not limited to your network at your one MBA program. You now have a network that expands to 21 member schools. And then you get to become part of an alumni network, again, spanning over 12,000 alums who are there to offer you support. as you become a student and beyond. You are also become eligible for consortium funding. So again, I mentioned that you may be eligible for full or partial tuition funding opportunities, and that each funding decisions are made by each individual member school. And last but not least, OP. So we are about a week and a half away from our famous orientation program. It is our 60th anniversary again. And so what OP is, it's a career fair that offers early internship opportunities and also allows you to connect with other consortium fellows. So this year we're going to be in Seattle. We all come together, all of the member schools, the classes, the admissions officers, the career officers, and corporate partners. And we have 4 days of networking amongst each other, celebration, but also, again, access to early internship opportunities, which is incredible. So I'm really looking forward to that. All right, so moving into the application, the benefits of applying through us, you can apply to multiple programs at a discounted rate. There's no cap on the amount of programs that you can apply to. And you again get to apply to them at a discounted rate, so it saves you time and it saves you money. So let's move along because I know that with my hiccups, I'm a little behind. All right, so here the best thing too is that we always get asked here at the consortium, if I'm applying to, one of your member schools, do I have to follow their deadlines? Do I follow your deadlines? What do I do? And so you don't have to focus on anything but our deadlines, and all of our member schools will align to those deadlines. So it alleviates a lot of stress to be able to say, okay, if I want to apply round one, I need to focus on this October 15th deadline. And if I want to apply round two, I will target January 5th. And so again, we will release your application materials to each of our member schools, and they will roll it into their applications. Our application always opens on August 15th, so just keep that in mind. And we will have an event to launch the application process. All right, and then running through the application quickly, always like to give a visual of what to expect once it opens. So as you can see here, it's kind of, if you apply through the Common App in undergrad, it's kind of like that. It's a one-stop shop where you would first answer some of our demographic and core questions, some of our essays, which I'll get into in just a moment as well. And then if you can move to the next slide, please. You'll see that you have the option to select the member schools that you want to apply to. And each year, the member schools, they go through the program materials in our application, they review, they make changes, and they do what they need to do to make sure that they're capturing what they need from you in our application. So you don't have to worry about theirs. You can focus on ours and know that we are setting you up for success. All right, so talking a little bit about our essays, what to expect. We have a core essay. The first one is the only one that's seen, our first two, I'm sorry, are the only one that are seen by our member schools. So the first one is career goals essay. We'll ask you to write a little bit about your short and long-term goals post-MBA. And then you have an optional essay. So people usually like to use this one to explain maybe a lower GPA, any employment gaps, if you're not selecting your direct supervisor as a recommender. It's a good place to state some of that. And then we have our mission essays that ask you to discuss how you've demonstrated a commitment to the consortium's mission. And so in our mission essay, we're looking for commitment, consistency. We want it to be authentic and something you've demonstrated a commitment to before your MBA, during, and after. So tell us what you're passionate about, and it doesn't have to be specific to business. It can be something that is relevant to you and your space. And then last but not least, you will, in each program, of course, have the school-specific essays that you'll have to complete as well. Okay. Letters of recommendation. We have 3 letters of recommendation. Another great perk of applying through our organization is that you don't have to ask your recommenders to fill out individual recommendation letters for each program. You can submit 3 and we will disperse those 3 to all of the programs that you're applying to. So we do require 1 mission recommendation as well as 2 professional recommenders. Some tips here for the mission recommendation. please get a good recommender. It doesn't need to be a supervisor or a leader in your organization, but it should be an objective third party that can speak specifically to your volunteerism and your organizational involvement. So please make sure that you're coaching your mission recommender to the same extent that you're coaching your professional recommenders. And then for professional, schools do typically prefer to see either a direct supervisor or a prior direct supervisor. So you should start preparing for that as well. And then last but not least, you will then have access to your application status. It'll show you what you've submitted, what you have left to submit to make sure that you're working towards having your application completed on time for the deadline. All right. And I'm not going to get into this. The consortium community runs deep at all of the individual member schools that we're at, but today we're focused on 3. So we'll let them talk about how the consortium shows up on their campuses. And I'll just close us out with the last slide, which is a QR code to attend an upcoming event. We have several member school webinars going on through the next couple of months. We also have our in-person recruitment events, which we call MAPS, coming up, starting with the first one. Emory is hosting us in Atlanta, August 25th. We're super excited and grateful for the space. And with that, actually, it's a great segue to ask Kathleen to please take over and take it away.
Hi, I'm happy to. That was a great overview, Michelle. I think that really explains the process really well. Thank you. There we go.
Kathleen, while you set up too, I'm just going to ask that our attendees please use the Q&A box to submit your questions. We're not able to answer through the chat for some reason. And so if you answer through Q&A, we can make sure we're getting ahead of that as we move along. All right. All you, Kathleen.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kathleen Edwards, from Director of Graduate Admissions at Goizueta Business School. Because we have a short amount of time and Michelle already did a great overview, I just want to give you 3 kind of highlights of Goizueta Business School to get you even more excited to come to a future event. So we hope to see you online, or if you are in Atlanta, you will have multiple opportunities. Please mark your calendars for Atlanta MAPS and for our Inside Goizueta weekend, November 6th and 7th. Because if you are interested in an MBA experience where you're going to build relationships with your consortium family, with your entire class, with your faculty in a special gem of a school in a beautiful city of Atlanta, I think this is the perfect place for you. First, to kind of highlight is the curriculum. The curriculum is consistently reviewed and taking feedback from alumni, from students, from recruiters. But over the past several years, we did a really deep dive and launched an enhanced, updated curriculum this past year, really emphasizing day one career readiness, cross-functional problem solving, thought leadership, and putting you in situations where you're able to apply that new knowledge very quickly. One highlight of the enhanced curriculum happens in your spring semester. It's called Growth Week. And it's a time where you have a week to work on a growth project. This past year, it was with the Coca-Cola company and presenting to the CEO of the Coca-Cola company. So that's something that doesn't happen every day. It was a very intense experience, but really led to fantastic growth ideas that have been directly used by the company. We're really looking forward to seeing what happens with those. But just to show you a little bit about what's happening with the curriculum now, we're building strong foundations up front with your quantitative skills, your AI familiarity with use in organization and individual level, and then jumping into your foundational core courses, all while building professional development into your first semester schedule as well. And then moving into your spring term and then your summer internship. So that leads me to another kind of highlight that makes Goizueta a little bit different than other consortium schools, is that we actually have both the traditional 2-year format, which looks like this: your first semester core and electives, your summer internship, and then returning for your spring and fall and spring second year electives. We also have a 1-year program. And so if you are in a field where you're really enjoying your growth, you're finding success, but you're looking to level up in that field, or you're looking for a pivot that maybe doesn't require an internship, the one-year MBA could be a fantastic fit for you. And you can actually apply to both through the consortium, get both decisions. The other things to think about would be if any of these three areas, the global business, healthcare, or real estate, are a passion area for you, you can take a one-year MBA that's specific to that. So one of the benefits of the one-year MBA is that you're getting that full MBA experience with a little less time out of the workforce, a little less time with salary out of your pocket, but also that full fantastic academic experience and career development. So with that, I want to hand my third point over to my colleague Jacia, who was able to join us. I'm sorry she didn't, she missed the introductions earlier, so I would love for her to introduce herself and share a little bit about the community at Goizueta.
Absolutely, and my apologies. I had some technical difficulties. Hi, everyone. My name is Jacia Bear. I am a rising second year here at Emory Goizueta Business School, and also the consortium president for the 2026 and 2027 year. So excited to meet you all. Originally from Charlotte, North Carolina, been in Atlanta going on about 10 years now. And so, yes, I love consortium, and it is why I decided to apply to be president this year, or for this year's cycle coming. We are such a tight-knit group. Affectionately, we're known as CFAM, Consortium Family. We spend so much time together through not only the academic portion of core, helping each other be successful in that regard, but also outside of school. Truly, we incorporate our outside lives within each other. We have tons of social events that we do. Here at Emory, we're really big on networking. So we spend a lot of time traveling with each other to different states and events and conferences. And just in general, we really believe in the family portion of it. A lot of our students are coming from out of town. And so while I have the experience of being in Atlanta for a while, it's a new experience for a lot of our students. And so we like to genuinely build a community that is supportive and will be with you through the times.
Jacia, where are you calling from today?
Oh, yeah. So I am currently in Tokyo, Japan.
Yeah.
So it
Well,
is
great.
about 9 a.m. in the morning here for me.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I know we have a short amount of time, but would love to see you again at future sessions and everything like that. So I will stop sharing now, and we will both be here to answer questions during the Q&A. So thank you.
Thank you both. All right. Trey, take us away.
I can do that. I can do that. Kathleen, thank you so much. Michelle and the consortium, thank you for this opportunity. My name is Trey Coles, Associate Director of Admissions at Tepper. I know we have 10 minutes, so I can talk a lot and definitely talk a lot about Pittsburgh, but I want to make sure that I am mindful of everybody's time tonight. Obviously, Tepper School of Business, we're located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We are the future, and in Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh is a city that I was born and raised in and hold very near and dear to my heart. And Tessa is also a Pittsburgher as well. A lot of students are usually surprised with Pittsburgh. It's one of the more, I would say, more impressive cities in the world, but also very underrated. Pittsburgh is a city where we have a very safe community, and more importantly, it's one of the top places to live. In addition, we have many hubs within our city, such as Google, Duolingo, Uber, Argo, and all major operations that have roots in Pittsburgh, largely because of the pipeline that is from Carnegie Mellon. CMU is consistently recognized as a global leader in AI, machine learning, robotics, computer science. So there's really a exciting innovation ecosystem throughout the city. On the healthcare side, of course, UPMC is one of the top hospitals and one of the largest healthcare systems in the country. We're also a massive driver of innovation, biotech, and healthcare. So that is a pillar of the Tepper School of Business, and certainly what we look at for our students within our curriculum. But also what students really love about Pittsburgh is that this really unique balance is that it has opportunities and industries of a major city, but it is also located, it is a much smaller than a New York City, than a Washington, D.C. And again, it is affordable, accessible, and also very community oriented as well. As we dive into our MBA program, I won't talk too much about the online hybrid and accelerated, but our full-time MBA program, this option is a 21-month program. Of course, it's based in Pittsburgh. It includes an academic year of intensive on-site learning and a summer internship. But also students benefit from a full range of career services to support their professional growth. Our program is a bit smaller compared to other top MBA programs in the country. We typically have anywhere between 130 to 150 students. So it's more intimate. There's a lot more connections that are built here at Tepper, and we really emphasize that. And I think that's the basis of our program. A lot of our students in Tesla will certainly agree to this. A lot of students know each other, sometimes a little bit too well, definitely in the classroom and within clubs or organizations. So I think it's a good benefit if you're looking for a smaller program and coming to a city that is affordable. Pittsburgh is always a great option. I won't spend too much time on our stats, but I do want to emphasize our MCC sponsored events. So, as I mentioned, if Tepper is a smaller school, you will have a close connection with your career counselor, and I think that goes a long way. And they work with you one on one to give you that very personalized approach based on your goals and your experience. So, again, these events are held on campus and also virtually, and we do a great job of landing students with internships. And then last year, I believe, right around 90% of our students landed a full-time role within 6 months after graduation. So again, can't emphasize like the power of our career team and how beneficial they are to our students in our business school. This part is always confusing when students ask questions about our electives and concentrations. And I think even on the admission side, a lot of us are confused at times as well. At Tepper, we have over 14 concentrations, 5 tracks, and 4 dual degrees. So looking at the concentrations, I won't discuss all of them, but I want to highlight AI and business, economics, entrepreneurship, finance, marketing, operations management, operations research. So as you're applying to Tepper, and if you're looking, for courses outside of a core curriculum, a concentration is typically anywhere between 3 classes in one area. So that would be, again, accounting, AI, business, or hypothetically marketing. Many students have anywhere between 3 to 5 concentrations. Looking at the tracks, you'll find business analytics, energy sustainability, entrepreneurship, management, and technology. Typically, tracks are anywhere between 8 to 10 prescribed electives, designed to provide like depth in each area. So again, concentrations anywhere between 3 classes in that area. Tracks are anywhere between 8 to 10 electives. I'll spend a second on this as I talk about AI, and that's of course Carnegie Mellon is the home base of AI, and it started here, and I'm sure at one point it'll end here. Our AI and business concentration is continues to transform industries, and it allows students to become leaders in the space that is essential. So, as a Tepper student, as you can see towards the right, if I can highlight this real fast, you will see that we have classes such as ethics and AI, business language analytics, AI applications to business, and business analytics, and also machine learning for machine learning fundamentals. So I wanted to spend 5 minutes discussing a little bit about Tepper, but I think that the highlight of tonight is having Tessa Douglas with us here tonight. Tessa is amazing and one of my favorite students that I've ever worked with. I've been doing this for a very long time, and I'll just introduce her. As she is a second-year MBA student at CMU and a proud Pittsburgher. She earned her BFA in music theater from Rider University and has worked in arts and education management, overseeing education at a Tony Award-winning theater and also leading customer experience operations at the Performing Arts Center at the World Trade Center. At Tepper, she literally does everything. I'm telling you, I don't know how she has time to mingle it all. She does everything. She's the president of Women in Business, community culture chair of the Graduate Business Association, and is also a consortium liaison as well. She'll be joining us in Seattle in a couple of weeks. So, Tessa, if you don't mind, just giving a quick intro of yourself, talk about your experience. You can go from there.
Absolutely. So as Trey mentioned, I'm a proud Pittsburgher through and through. And what's been really unique about the experience of going to Carnegie Mellon Tepper School of Business and pursuing an MBA there is the fact that I'm able to experience the city in a completely different lens. Whether that's dancing at Spring Formal in the same museum that I attended summer camp at, or going to a local winery in a different part of a city that I've never been to because Pittsburghers are iconic for not crossing bridges, but Tepper pushes you to cross those bridges. Uh, I think what initially attracted me to Tepper School of Business is the fact that it's a STEM designated program. And as Trey mentioned, my background's in theater. So I am very, very non-traditional, and I haven't taken a math class since my undergrad, and I only had to take one. So if you're someone who doesn't have a math background, who has only taken one class in undergrad, or maybe it's been a minute, I can assure you, you'll be okay at Tepper because of the community at Tepper. whether that's the professors helping you during office hours, our TA sessions, our tutoring sessions, or just the students. There's so many times that the consortium students or even students outside of the consortium are willing to help. I think my favorite story is I was taking probability and statistics in our first mini, and I was struggling through this homework, and it was an hour until the deadline. And one of my classmates was nearby practicing his behaviorals. And even though we barely talked at this point in the program, he stopped what he was doing, turned to me, and said, "Do you need help with that?" And I said, "Yes, please, please." And he walked me through it. I turned it in, and I got 100%. So that is the power of the Tepper community. We're observant, we're supportive, and we're always there for each other, even when we don't know each other, to the point that we know each other now. I think another thing I love about Tepper is how easy it is to get involved in leadership. Trey highlighted that I do a lot on campus, and I would say my classmates would say the same. As you mentioned, I'm the president of Tepper Women in Business, community and culture chair for our Graduate Business Association, which is our student government, the growth, marketing, and finance officer for our Pro Bono Consulting Club, consortium liaison, communication coach, admissions office fellow. So I do a lot, but I'm able to do a lot because of the community that's supporting me and that's pushing me, and pushing me to explore new things and to dive headfirst into that pool. And at the same time, the community also pushes me to discover new things. Again, I'm theater, never coded a day in my life. And at Tepper, not only am I coding in Python, but I'm also vibe coding websites for local organizations that they're actually using. So Tepper really does it all, and I wouldn't be who I am without the Tepper community.
Thank you so much, Tessa. I think we're right at 10 minutes. I don't know how we did that, but we're here to answer any questions. And again, thank you so much. And we'll pass it off to Will at Stanford.
Alrighty, y'all, let me go ahead and share my screen. If I can find where that button is. There we go. All right, can y'all see palm trees, see sunshine? But that's not why we're here. If anything, Stanford, I think what makes it really special is it's less about us and more about you. And this is a question I try to get everybody to think about. If you can do anything, what would it be? If you didn't have to worry about salary, if you didn't have to worry about where in the world you were, if you didn't have to worry about if you're qualified to do it or not, what would that thing be? Maybe it's a specific role, or maybe there's a pivot. I know that was mentioned by somebody in the Q&A box. Maybe there is a feeling you want to chase or a community you want to continue to impact. As you start to piece together some of the words around that, that's where we can get to helping you kind of identify, like, how will a management degree from Stanford or any one of our schools here on this panel help you get there? If anything, take a design your life approach. It really is about how can we help you become the agent, author, and authority of your own path. I think that's something that at Stanford we care really deeply about. And I think simmering under this is that question, like, can you get in? The answer is yes. And actually, our consortium community members, and not just at Stanford, but this is common across many schools, and even with our panelists today, our leaders and contributors and are elevating like discourse, dialogue, and how people are learning about the world around them. So continue being that leader and engage in the things that you care about, because it's really important. So at the highest level, some of the things that we think about at Stanford that set it apart are, how do we help you expand your mindset? So you have access to all of the different schools. So if you are interested in taking engineering courses, take it with experts in that space. For those of you who are interested in climate sustainability, take classes, take events, be parts of community with the Door School of Sustainability. There's biosciences for y'all interested in the healthcare space. Lots of different ways to complement and supplement the expertise at the GSB with researchers, industry leaders all over campus. translating that into the classroom, there is a core curriculum. We want to make sure everybody has the same foundations as we're thinking about not just kind of what does it mean to lead organizations, but to create the culture and community to allow you to test out, like, that 15% of discomfort to really help you grow and really think about, like, how do you show up in the spaces that you're in a way that's effective. You're going to do about 300 cases by the time you graduate, but there's also experiential learning courses. There is a global education requirement that you go somewhere that you haven't lived, studied, or worked before. Somebody in the Q&A box mentioned the GMIX, the Graduate Management Immersion Experience. So this is one of those variations. So think about it as an international internship, for lack of better words. There's also ways for you to create a global study trip, typically you and maybe 3 or 4 other MBA2s in your second year. Identify a topic area that you want to study at part of the world and work with our global education department and take a group of 20 to 30 other GSBers with you to study that on location. So for example, this year, one group went to Denmark and Sweden to study design, like especially Nordic design in AI interfaces and digital marketplaces. So if there's something that you care about, take it, run, and we're here to help you supplement and figure out what that means. Because the community really is how we think about elevating what you're learning into the classroom and applying real world dimensions to it. And as we think about whether it's a new formula or kind of a new business idea, engaging with that sense of diversity and all of these lived experiences in different ways is where learning really happens. And so we want to make sure that you feel comfortable checking in with each other, supporting each other. I know that's a common theme among many of our consortium communities. There is a student-held norm at Stanford of grade non-disclosure. So it's not that we don't have grades, but rather we're not sharing GPAs, class ranks with recruiters or anybody else. You're more than welcome to share your own, but we're not stacking you against each other. So 2 things. If you've never taken a class at the law school and you're kind of intimidated, but there's a lot of learning from that kind of negotiations course, like who better to learn and practice negotiation skills than with some like top future lawyers in the world? Like, go take that class. The other half of it is there's no, like, when one boat rises, all boats rise. So nothing stops you. And if anything, we want you to be able to help each other, right? And so this helps cultivate that community because it's when people are giving and sharing. That's when the greatest learnings are going to happen, especially as we think about the leadership development curriculum. Why should someone want to follow you? So this is a question, and I totally forgot to advance my slides. Not that the pictures really matter in the context of what we're talking about, but it was supposed to keep me on track. But why should someone want to follow you? Whether it's in leadership labs, one of your first classes that you take with 6 other students, facilitated by an MBA2. So if you're interested in leadership mentoring and coaching, this is a chance for you to take one of our hallmark classes, interpersonal dynamics, your first year. And then in the next year, you're part of leadership coaching clinics where you're getting coached as you're supporting the next class of MBA ones as they're experimenting with new leadership styles. And you get to continue mentoring and coaching them over the course of the next year. So how do we also think about not just learning about what people have done, but really turn you into the protagonist and practice some of these skill sets, because you never know what future horizons are going to kind of present to you. We want to make sure you're able to define that in a way that is true to who you are, your principles, your values, and what are the things that are most important to you and why. And finally, that takes us to like defining the future. 10 years ago, 5 years ago, Bitcoin, blockchain, e-commerce, sustainability started to take this new kind of prevalence in the way that we were thinking about the world. AI as this new frontier. Some of the hallmarks of what it means to lead as like the world changes. Again, who are you? What do you care about? How do you influence others, especially as you progress through your career? It's less about can you do the technical skill and more about how can we organize and align people such that we're able to create and achieve some greater good. These are all things that we care really deeply about and want to empower you as a student. One of the philosophies at Stanford, student-led, staff-supported. So it really is, what do you care about? We're here to help you make that happen. So I'll go ahead and stop there. And we do have a ton of different events around the country, including application workshops. So if you have questions, want to do some skill set development, kind of do some back and forth, check out our GSB admissions events website. We already have our events posted around the country and around the world. And I'll be running a bunch of both in-person and online application workshops to help y'all put your best foot forward when you're applying.
All right. Round of applause to all of our presenters. Thank you so much. And this takes us into our Q&A. We have plenty of time. So guys, if you're listening in, you have questions for general questions or school specific questions, now's the time. If it is school specific, please call out which program you want to hear from and put your question. But I'd like to kick off our Q&A with a general question for our students, and then Will, you can speak on behalf of Stanford as well. But starting with Goizueta, would love to hear from you, Jaja. Talk to us a little bit about how the consortium, I know you talked about the CFAM. Can you talk a little bit about what that looks like in a day-to-day, like, how the community supports each other? What kind of activities do you have? How do you carry the mission forward? Would love to hear from you and your active involvement on campus.
Absolutely. So something we also say affectionately at Emory is that CFAM runs Goizueta. So all of our members are doing either presidents, leading or starting some series, club, or event on campus. So that looks like for me specifically, I am not only the consortium president, but also the treasurer of the Food and Wine Club and the VP of Community Development for our Black Graduate Business Association and some other things that I won't list out. I don't want to do the whole resume. But with that in mind, what we do is support. If we have events, say Consortium is having an event, but Black Graduate Student Association wants to have an event, we might do a collaboration on that. Or, hey, I need a panelist. Do you have someone that would want to come speak? Or say we recently, at the close of our last school year, just had a food and wine club event off campus. And to make that successful, we had a lot of members from our other clubs show up and bring their clubs with it in a way of a collaboration. And then also we have something called Keeping Everyone at Goizueta Social, which is KEGS for short. It's our kind of like Thursday happy hour that happens every week. And our final one, what we did as all of the consortium communities across all the clubs, we came together and donated money from our leftover budget so that we could have a bigger celebration than tends to be for that. And really bring out the entire school, say goodbye to our second years who were leaving, and have this last kind of final moment with not only the second years, but our professors. So the way support looks on campus is a variety of things. That's just what I was mentioning was interrelational between the clubs, but also support with the academic side of things. And that might be during core, similar to Tessa, I don't have a math background at all. And I relied a lot on my fellow consortium members to help me figure it out. One of my classmates, Ahil, is a genius. Quite literally, and I'm not even like saying that to be kind. Um, and so I sat down a lot of times with him and him actually essentially becoming my professor, teaching me how to do a p-value and all the other things that sound very dramatic now. And so I think what we do for each other is we take care of each other, we support each other, we show up on campus and off campus. Many of my classmates, including myself, have gone through personal family and life changes, deaths, and things of that nature. And you don't go through those alone. You're there with each other. You are there to walk this path together, not only on campus, and when you're there, but also when you graduate. We're incredibly close with our graduates that just passed. We take it not only in the States, but also internationally. I mentioned I'm in Tokyo, but I'm here on our global experience module with my classmates, with majority of them are consortium, and we've been here for about 2 weeks in Tokyo. We actually just got back from Seoul 2 days ago. So yeah, it's deeply ingrained, and we support looks a multifaceted of ways, truly. I hope I answered the question.
Yes, through and through. Thank you. Tessa, you want to jump in here?
Absolutely. So, I mean, similar at Tepper, we joke that consortium is the backbone of the program. We basically we have a member of consortium on every single club board. So it makes collaborations with other clubs really easily. For example, this past spring, Tepper Women in Business wanted to host a wine night. And I thought to myself, who has a connection to a good wine bar? Well, the president of our Latin American Business Club, who happens to be a consortium member, and we were able to get it at a discounted rate, all because of that like relationship that's already established because of our strong consortium network. Beyond this, our our second years through consortium really help us with recruiting. Like I mentioned, I come from a non-traditional background. I needed that support. They were grilling me with behaviorals. They were boosting my confidence. They kept sending me job postings left and right. And we expect that to happen as the next year rolls around and we have some new first years in. And then lastly, in terms of academics, we have our consortium fellows from a long, long time ago started a drive for us. And ever since then, we're able to accumulate all of our knowledge, all of our support, all of our tips and tricks with different classes in one central location. And this has just been passed on. So not only do we have a knowledge database, but we also have our second years who are there providing us with prep sessions left and right. And then in terms of just the first year connection, we hang out with each other a lot because we like each other a lot. And I'm sure that's consistent at every single program. And we're really, even during our breaks, we are spending time with each other. All throughout winter break, I was on a Zoom call basically every single day with a consortium fellow, either casing them or drilling them on behaviorals. And then even yesterday, I was at a coffee shop with one of our consortium fellows, giving him a case because that's just what we do at Tepper. We're always going to support you and we're going to have fun doing so.
All right. And Will, you want to round us out?
I think there's a lot of commonalities across many of our programs, so I think that the students will can speak to that
Okay,
best.
great.
I'm
All
happy to
right.
do some programmatic stuff.
Let's do it. All right. So let's jump into the first question that I want to answer live. And any one of you, please jump in here. But we have a question where the theme is being a career pivoter, which I think is a very common thread across a lot of people looking to pursue their MBA. So talk to us a little bit about how your program supports. And I think that an MBA is a valuable vessel for career pivoting in general. So anyone can answer this question. Talk to us about what it looks like to pursue an MBA to pivot your career.
Yeah.
Trey, yeah, please.
Yeah, sure, Michelle, I'll go. And Maureen, you're asking great questions in the chat. And this is a question that comes up a lot when we're on the road. We actually work with a lot of students who are making big career pivots, including people that come from education, government, nonprofit work, and other like mission-driven spaces. One thing I always tell prospective students, and I'm sure Will and Kathleen say the same thing, is that your experience is not something that you're starting over from. It's an advantage. At Tepper, the analytical side of the MBA is obviously important, and we want to see your quantitative ability, but so is helping students connect their past experience to where they want to go next. So, and because of that broader ecosystem at Tepper, students interested in things like sustainability or urban planning or climate or community impact can really tap into any interdisciplinary opportunities. So I mentioned earlier in our session, our career team, and just like Stanford and Emory, they'll work with you and they'll ensure that you'll be successful. And yeah, it's typically very common, and that's what an MBA is for, to pivot and whether switch industries or functions or advance in your career, and that's exactly what our program is for. So yeah, it's very common. There might be another option in terms of an online hybrid program that might be better fit for you with having 20 years of experience, but you certainly should apply and look into each program that's on the panel today because you sound like a good fit for any of our business schools. So.
Sorry, I'm really excited about this one because there's a key differentiator, orientation program. And so as folks are thinking about, yes, there are going to be summer career modules that are happening, but OP, as Michelle mentioned, is in late May, early June, and schools are already working where there are folks who are interested in OP to prepare you for that. So that's even an extra leg up in this process that is not unique to our schools, but like a common strength and opportunity. So just want to shout that out as one of the great opportunities here.
Thank you. All right, I'll quickly take reapplicants. So if you are a reapplicant, please know that we're here to support you. All of us, we view reapplicants favorably. If you're reapplying to a member school, it's because you like that member school. And so we support our reapplicants here at the consortium, and our member schools do as well. You would reapply using the same consortium application, and you can reuse your recommendation letters if you'd like. You can also reuse your core essays. And so that is something for you to think about if you'd like to, or if you'd like to start over. But you would essentially restart your application as a new applicant when you choose to reapply in the coming year. So that one, let me mark it done. And let's get into a question from Alicia. So when member schools are determining funding, this is a popular question as well. What factors are considered in deciding whether an applicant receives full funding? So talk to us a little bit about your application review process. Kathleen, do you want to take this one?
Sure, absolutely. So obviously, funding and scholarships are a really important part of your ability to attend one of our programs. This is a big investment of time, energy, and resources, financial and otherwise. So at Goizueta, we know you want a scholarship. We're going to automatically review you for a scholarship. From our awards range from about 20% of tuition up to full tuition. What we're looking for are the same criteria we use for the admission decision. So essentially your academic readiness, so that entire record that we have, whether it includes the standardized test, the transcript, your professional record, what the knowledge and experience that you bring into your classroom, to your classmates, and then to your future employers, and then your overall Goizueta fit, which is kind of leadership involvement, community involvement, team skills, certainly is something we're looking for. But we're using those criteria for the admission decision and then re-reviewing admitted candidates for merit scholarship. So if you're thinking about admission, you want to look at our average test scores, those kinds of things. If you're thinking about the larger scholarship awards, you want to look at our class profile and look at the above average levels. But it's, the test scores are a part of that. The academics are definitely a part of that. It's not the only factor. But that is something that is worth putting time and effort into now that you have some time before you're submitting that application. But yes, so we're doing a holistic review for admission and then again for the merit scholarship process at Goizueta.
Anything anyone else wants to add here?
Yep, at Stanford, we're fully need-based in financial aid. So the process will start after you're admitted. And our goal is to provide the folks who need the most financial aid with the most amount of funding. Happy to talk about it. And we support folks through that process all the time.
Yeah. I'll be quick. We're merit-based at Tepper. Similar to what Kathleen said, we look at academic strength, professional impact, leadership potential, and the perspective a student brings to the classroom. So happy to answer questions in the future.
Thank you. Yeah, so the takeaways, look at each school's class profile that you're targeting to understand how they're awarding tuition funding. And the scholarship funding is coming directly from each individual member school, and there's no limit on the amount of member schools that can offer you funding. So you want to make sure you're dedicating time and equal attention to each of the schools that you're applying to. So we have 1 minute left. I will ask. Let me see. Is there anything here? Is it correct? Okay. You know what? If you have additional questions, please email recruiting@cgsm.org. I think this is a great place. A lot of the other questions can be answered on a case-by-case basis. So want to make sure I'm being respectful of everyone's time here. Want to thank you all for joining us for our first member school webinar of the season. We look forward to continued engagement with all of you. Your admissions officers are your gateway as well as student ambassadors into each of the programs that you're interested in applying to. So please make sure you're doing the work to understand cultural fit, the class profile requirements, and that you're getting a really good understanding of the programs that you're interested in pursuing in the coming year.